Today our topic of discussion in our course of auditing is chapter number 3. And chapter number 3 is focusing on auditors' ethical and legal responsibilities. And the objective of this chapter is to describe the moral, professional, and legal responsibilities that the public expects auditors to meet. Further, demonstrating the importance society attached to the auditor's role in protecting the public interest. So that's the main idea behind this all responsibilities. As the name is reflecting this chapter, that auditors' ethical and legal responsibilities. So I divide the whole chapter into 3 parts and I discuss one by one and hope you understand this more with this division of the chapter. So what are the learning objectives of this chapter is that we want to talk about the concept of the auditor's responsibilities, that what the auditors is really responsible for. The importance of the study of ethics in helping define auditors' responsibility. So the first standard that the auditor has to fulfill or auditors has to take care is the ethical standards of the society, of the norms of the society. So that's the first thing as a human, what ethical standards we are following in the society, we have to follow this. That's what the base on which we're going to build up all the responsibilities. Characteristics of a critical thinking. That's also one of the requirement for the auditors, that they have a capacity for critical thinking. Describe the purpose and the contents of the codes of professional ethics. Then comes the professional ethics, and then comes the legal responsibilities. So this is the way that it works. Ethical established by the various professional accounting bodies. These are the frameworks, ethical standards, or the legal frameworks on which we have to build up the whole profession of auditing. The importance of an independent framework for auditors, auditors' legal responsibilities, and various types of common law liability for a public accountant, citing specific case precedents. So these are the outlines or the learning objectives of this chapter, is that after this chapter's discussion, you are able to answer these basic questions regarding the responsibilities of auditors. So let's start with the auditors have 3 areas of responsibility to the society or to the people or in general public. The one is the moral responsibility, that whatever he understand morally good uh, 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 based on his audit report, he has to present that. So covered under the study of ethics, a public accountant must be upright, not kept upright. So that's his own standards are like this. He's a upright person. Professional responsibilities covered by the rules of conduct. It's a professional responsibility. And then comes the legal responsibilities covered under criminal and civil law. So definitely the legal responsibility is under certain legal framework, and that can be a criminal or that can be a civil. So these are the 3 broader categories or the divisions of responsibility for an auditor. The one is the moral or ethical standards as a human being. And the second is the professional responsibilities, including the professional ethics or all the standards set by the regulatory bodies of this profession. And the third is the legal, like in which we can apply the all the rules and regulations which are applicable under any criminal law or the civil law. Professional responsibilities are the rules and principles for the proper conduct of an auditor in his or her professional work. So that's a very in general ethics is that professional responsibilities or ethics are the rules and the principles for the proper conduct of an audit. Now, in order to explain the professional ethics, what we have to try to understand what is ethics. So the branch of philosophy, which is the systematic study of reflective choices of the standards of right and wrong. So this is a very philosophical and a textbook definition of ethics. Now, an ethical problem arise while you are doing auditing or any other profession. So that's many times the situation arise, and you have to be on the right side of the always on the right side of the decision. Like if you have a two choices and one is right and the other one is wrong, so it is morally expecting that everyone should stand on the right side. So that's the same case with the auditors as well. So ethical problem, a situation when you must make a clear choice among alternative actions, and the right choice is not absolutely clear. It is an ethical problem because the alternative actions affect the well-being of other people. So an ethical dilemma, sometimes the people are facing this dilemma that they have to make a choice between two options or two alternatives, is a problem that arises when a reason to act in a certain way is offset by a reason to act in that way. Critical thinking is also part of an ethical problem that you have to solve the ethical problems is to start thinking in a in a broader way and not very specifically to the very what are the outcomes of that decisions. You have to think in a way. That's what we call it as a critical thinking. Help identify and resolve ethical dilemmas. So critical thinking resolve the ethical dilemmas or ethical problems. Critical thinking, what is critical thinking now? Critical thinking is the process of identifying the primary accounting, auditing, and ethical objectives and the principles to be relied upon in a particular situation, with all the principles being logically consistent with the objectives of financial reporting. Goes beyond a professional standard. So critical thinking is not only up to the professional standards, but also a deep thinking involves skilled and active interpretation and evaluation, a way to make operational judgment in auditing. There's a difference between a critical thinking and audit professional judgment. So we have to see critical thinking can do any person, but the audit professional judgment is related on the basis of certain standards, and you have to apply those standards. Ethical behavior, there are two standards, philosophically viewpoints to ethical behavior. It is behavior that produces the greatest good, or it is a behavior that conforms to rules and principles. So these are the two viewpoints, that it is a behavior that produces the greatest good, that the best thing that we can get out, or it is behavior that conform to the rules and the principles. Why do we need a code of ethical conduct? Because it's a profession and in which we have to set certain standards, ethical standards, and we have to, or we call it as a benchmark. So a code serves as a reference and a benchmark for a code serves as a reference and a benchmark for the individuals. Ethics refers to the role of a decision maker. In addition, the professional accountant serves other roles as well while doing their audit. The one is a spectator. They are observing their colleagues, what they are doing, how they are doing. Advisor, counseling co-workers that you can do this in this situation. This the rule laws allow to do this or not to do this. Instructor, teaching accounting students, because you when you are working, you have a lot of co-op students or trainee students with you. So you have to work as a instructor. Judge, serving or disciplinary committees. Sometimes the auditors have to serve in the committees, that is their objective is to fix the responsibilities or to figure it out who is the responsible for that mistake, or if there is any fraud or something like this. So they work as a judge as well. The critique, that's one of the most important job of a auditor, is to critique, reviewing the ethical decisions of others, because the auditor's job starts when the other's jobs finish. So after finishing the management for the compilation and official presentation of their financial statements, the auditor starts their work to review or critically review those statements. Uh, Primary goal is considering general ethics is arriving at a set of acceptable methods for making ethical decisions. One of the key element of ethics is a reflective choice, which involves the following sequence of events. Recognize a decision problem, collect evidence, think about the rules of behavior, considering probable outcomes, analyzing the situation, and taking action. So these are the steps, the uh, ethics require that we have to do this whenever we do some audit. Professional judgment in auditing is essential, critical thinking on accounting issues and evidence related to them. This reasoning should be documented, and professional judgment in its most basic form involves several key steps. Identifying the crucial issue, gathering information on all the significant assertions, identify possible alternative course of action, evaluating the alternative course of action, and deciding on the best course of action. Professional skepticism. That is also one of the very important requirement for an auditor, is an inclination to question all material assertions made by the management, whether oral, written, or contained in the accounting records, balanced by a willingness to respect the integrity of the management. It's skeptical, but not to challenge the honesty or integrity or other things that is related to the management without getting any evidence. So that's initially you have to start your work with the perception that this is prepared with the integrity and all these things. Let your conscious be your guide, uh, gut feeling type things that you can get it, or sixth sense type of things. You have to uh, quite vigilant about these. Ethical theories can be subdivided into two types. Monistic theories assumes that universal principle apply regardless of the specific fact, or pluralistic theories, on the other hand, assume that there are no universal principle, and the best approach is to use the principles that are most relevant in a particular situation. So one thing is a monistic, and the other one is a pluralistic theories. So both can be applied under different. Kant presented the imperative principles of general ethics for auditors, or in general. Universal principle must always be followed regardless of the consequences. Rules must, the universal principles like you don't cheat others, you don't lie, tell a lie with others, and don't conceal the facts. So these are the universal principles, and it must always be followed regardless of the consequences. Whatever the consequence is, we have to follow it. General objection to this principle is that rules always have exceptions. Rules must always be followed because they are rules, and general objection to this principle is that rule always have some exceptions in certain such circumstances. Second problem is determining which conflicting duty is important. Rules of conduct have been greatly influenced by the imperative principle. The ultimate criterion of an ethical decision is the balance of good over evil consequences produced by an action. So greatest good for greatest number is all that matters. Permits an action that causes a minority to suffer. So these are the principles of utilitarianism. That's a concept in economics that we apply here, that greatest goods for greatest number is all that matters, even an action that causes a minority to suffer. So we will have to take care in totality. So this is all what we want to discuss in part one.